Welcome to This is Living. I'm your host, Julie Landy, and this series or this show is about really finding out what helps you elevate the way that you think, the way that you feel, and the way that you live. That often opens new doors. I find that when women feel good, they do good. When they feel good, they do good, and good happens. And so we are about elevating women all over the globe. I'm the founder of Live Your Vision, and it is an international and transformational coaching program that has been helping women for almost a decade now, really to use their strengths, their values, their passions, and their life experiences to create great next chapters. And I'm so excited to be starting this series with you and to have the hosts, to be the host and to have the guests with me that I do. We have women who have shared with us that they have needs, quite frankly, that in order to live at their best, to be their best, they have some needs. And we've discovered that women are notoriously bad at asking for support. I have been one of them, particularly in the area of wellness. And so we are bringing to you a series called Living in Wellness. And I'm so excited about the experts that have come on board to share their wisdom with you and with me, because I'm going to be taking notes as well. That's for sure. I have learned so much during this interview series. And we're going to be bringing experts from all around the globe on a variety of topics. The topics include relationship building, financial wellness, business development. You may see a social media expert on here. The next time you may see a doctor. The next time you may see a parenting coach. It's amazing. The needs we have as women are pretty full spectrum, and we are here to help meet those needs so that you can, in fact, really live in a great new way and open some new chapters for yourself. We definitely feel like that personal development, spiritual development, inner work is the foundation to moving everything forward. So I'm so excited because the series within the show that we're doing now is called Living in Wellness. And so, as I mentioned, we have brought experts from around the world here to bring you their wisdom. And I'm so excited to have with us today our own Christina Charley, who is hailing from not too far from me. I'm actually in Atlanta, Georgia, and she's actually in Florida, in Jacksonville, Florida, probably the closest one I've interviewed so far geographically. And I'm just going to let her say hello and give you a little bit of her backstory.
Well, hello. Thank you, Julie, so much for having me. And, I'm excited to share just what I've learned over the years about health and wellness. And would you like me just to get started with how I got started in wellness?
Yes. I did tell Christina we want to know their backstory on how she even got into wellness, because Christina's extremely talented. We were just chatting off camera about her D1 track career before this, and
Yeah.
and her other academic accolades, and her family, and she's got 4 beautiful children and an amazing husband. So we could talk on a lot of topics with Christina, but the one I've asked her to speak to get today about is the wellness. So why don't you share with us how you got
Sure.
into the wellness profession yourself?
Yes, like you mentioned, I graduated from Vanderbilt University, was a track athlete, and so health and wellness was kind of in my blood. But after I graduated in education, I realized that that was not where I wanted to go. And so I went on to grad school at Syracuse University, where I studied exercise science. And so that kind of got it in my blood, so to speak. But it was a much more personal story that really impacted my desire to, really go deeper into wellness. My sister passed from cancer
Mm.
when she was just 33 years old of breast cancer. And she left behind 3 babies, and it really left an impression on me as I witnessed her health journey and her life. And I really began to see how true health was impacted by not only the physical health, but also emotional, spiritual, and relational aspects of life. And I saw
Wow.
it kind of unfolding in her life. And so that was really an impactful event in my life. And, my own journey into wellness really began with, um, you know, kind of started out as vanity, for a lot of women, when
Right?
we're young, we're wanting to look a certain way. And, I wanted to stay strong, and I had a aesthetic that I wanted to keep in my body. And, having 4 babies, 4
Whoa.
C-sections, really did impact, my body. But, also just from a spiritual perspective, I began to see that my health was so much more involved than just what I was putting in my mouth, how I was working out. There were things underneath the surface that caused me to go into emotional eating, or that caused me to use food for comfort or stress relief. And I really saw that there were mind, body, and spirit components that I really needed to address if I really wanted to get healthy and fit from the inside out. And so that began just where I really began looking at health from an inside out perspective, and not just, let's pick up these weights, let's do these exercises, let's eat this food. Because, working with women, you realize that we are much more complex creatures. And so I began incorporating much more of a holistic approach to wellness because of that.
Well, you can see why we're aligned, Christina and myself. We've had a great time, working together over the last year or so. And she has such a fabulous take on wellness, that the way that she brings, about health and wellness really spoke to me. So, Christina, before we get into that part of it, because I'm going to ask you some questions about that later,
Sure.
tell us a little bit. I'd love to hear one thing that you recommend as a healthcare professional, what people should stop doing. I know it's kind of a cardinal thing we're already going to start with what you need to cut out. Yes, today we are. What do people need to stop doing?
I think midlife women, especially that's the women I love to work with, should stop neglecting self-care.
Ooh,
In the
good one.
midst, yeah, should stop neglecting self-care in the midst of our many responsibilities, because we're caretakers at heart. We're working in careers, we're mothers, we're serving in communities, we're volunteering. And with all of that, it's so crucial to prioritize our own self-care and to set boundaries to ensure that our own health and well-being is not being overlooked. And that's a huge thing.
I love that one. Okay, that one's going on my wall. Stop neglecting self-care. It's
Yeah.
just because it's like really genuinely the last thing I think about. I think about when I get up in the morning, obviously I have certain routines and connect with God and the things that I do to connect with my business and my family and all those other things. But then me, oh my gosh, take care of me. Where does that go? Unless it's literally written down and
Right.
intentional and on my schedule, it will not happen.
Yeah.
No matter how much I think about that. So I appreciate you saying that. It's just more of a big deal than we think. And this is part of our initiative that we're doing this series, is that self-care is not selfish. And that's what I found a lot of the women like myself prior even thought, which is why they didn't do it. They really
Right.
have been driven to think that it's a selfish act or pursuit. And so, we don't want to do that. Obviously, you don't want to become something that you dislike,
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you for bringing that up. Tell us now what you think is one thing that women should start doing.
I believe, women should start really thinking about is where they're at right now in their health and their life, what they truly desire, and is it going to produce the outcome that they want in the second half of their life?
Okay.
Should start really going like, is this where I want to go? Is my health where I want it to be? And is it going to take me where I want to go in the second half of my life? Like, I think there's so many women that are dealing with low level pain, or just they're dealing with a lack of energy. Women are just fine with, not, I don't know if they're fine with it, but we're just living with a low level of optimal health. We don't even know what it feels like to be energized and to feel good in our body and to feel confident. And so I think we all need to take a step back and go, is this how I really want to continue on? Or do I really want to accelerate my health and to feel better and to look better and to be confident in my own skin? And sometimes it takes a little self-evaluation.
I love that. So do you think that comes from our sort of, because to me, it seems like we're very in the here and now. sort of instant gratification. So if it works, if I feel good today, then okay, but I'm not really thinking about the long-term impact and where I want to be like when I'm 60, 70, 80. I
Yeah,
mean, like you're saying, the second half of life, the first half of life is actually setting up the second half of life. But do we
right.
often give that? What I'm hearing you say is, do we often give that any consideration from the standpoint of where am I at now and where do I want to go? And will what I'm doing take me there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
We don't often look ahead until we're forced to.
I
I like
know.
to say, listen to your body's whispers so that you don't have to hear it when it screams. And a
Oh,
lot of time, we're not getting help until we're dealing with, pre-diabetes at our door, or we're dealing with, hormone imbalance, and we're wondering why we can't sleep, and we're dealing with night sweats, or we're dealing with, we're looking in the mirror and we're wondering, like, that tire around my waist, like, why is it not going away? We get to a point where we're utterly frustrated, and then we decide to go and get help. And at that point, oftentimes it's very overwhelming.
yeah.
And, it can be, a much longer road than it would have been if you just, were taking care of yourself along the way, or when you started to feel your body saying, hey, I need
Mhm.
attention, that you took time to get the help and the support and make some changes at that time.
Mhm. Wow, that's so profound. I wrote that down. Listen to your body's whispers so you don't have to listen to it scream. Is that
Yeah.
what you said?
Yep.
Oh,
Absolutely. And
God.
I think a lot of women are starting to take care of parents, or they're starting to
Yeah.
see,
Mhm.
the health of their parents. And I know in my own family, just seeing loved ones close to me dealing with dementia at such a young age, or
Right.
just dealing with a lot of, health issues that have really
Yeah.
derailed the things that they wanted to do in their life. A lot of people are putting off adventure and vacations and things like that because they're like, well, I want to lose some weight, or I'm not feeling that good, and they're putting off, like, living life,
Yeah.
and living their vision because they're just not feeling up to it.
Yeah, yeah, that's so good. So, I wanted to ask you what one wellness tip is that you would give the audience today, but go ahead. You've given us so many already, but I know I asked you for a specific one, so go ahead and share that.
Um,
Not a specific one that I had in mind, but for you to share one, and I'm sure you have one in mind.
yeah, one key wellness tip that I think is underrated and misunderstood is self-love and compassion.
Wow.
Acting from a place of deep nourishment and value. Because I often ask my clients, like, you know, are you making loving choices in what you're eating?
Wow.
Are you
Great point.
making loving choices in how you decide to move your body or not move your body? And are we making loving choices in the habits that we have? And so, I think that's something that can sound like, oh, self love. But, I think when we really examine our actions and we ask, like, do I eat like I love myself? Do I talk to myself like I love myself? Do I look in the mirror and look at myself with love? And I
Mm.
think if we're honest, there's a lack of self-love that's happening in our life.
No, I 100% agree on that because, I mean, we just live in such a highly competitive, comparative society, and so we're always looking for the flaw, the weakness, what's not right, how do we fix it? I mean, we're just so negatively wired to see things, and so it is harder to come from a place of love, and I really do appreciate that question. Like, am I making loving choices for my body, for my mind, for my soul, for my movement, all of those things? I'm going to bring those with me. Thank you. That's so helpful. So, what would you say? I know I couldn't wait to ask you this one, but what would you say is one of your biggest pet peeves in the regard to your area of wellness?
I would say we're definitely like a quick fix, put it in the microwave. I want my 20 pounds off of my body tomorrow. What can you
Yeah.
give me? What pill can I take? You know, there, we want the promise of instant results. But sustainable wellness requires a long-term mindset. And most of us are not willing to invest that level of time and commitment to ourselves that really create long-term transformative results.
Mhm.
And so definitely, we want the Ozempic, we want the pill,
Oh
we want
my gosh,
the
yes.
quick fix. And in the long run, we don't really realize what those things are doing to our bodies in the long run. And so we got to
Mhm.
look at the long game.
Isn't that just so true of so many areas of life? We want the quick fix, and that is the shortest quickest path to disaster on
Right.
so many levels when we're trying to fix things, whether it's our relationships or our finances or our dreams or our wellness in the snap of a finger, and I just think, gosh, if we could just undo that piece of us of impatience and somehow get the long view, wouldn't we all be so much healthier? It'd be so
Yeah,
great, so great.
absolutely.
Okay, so I know in your area of wellness, and we're going to speak more specifically to that in just a moment, but tell me one of the biggest misconceptions or myths that surround your area of wellness. And why don't you share a little bit about what your area of wellness is specifically first?
Yes, I would say my area of wellness is serving the whole woman, serving her mind, body, spirit, and letting that launch her to just new vision in her life. I believe that our health can be such a catalyst to, improving all areas of our life. And so I'd say my expertise is I have a very wide range of gifts and strengths. I do all kinds of workouts with women, from yoga to rebounding to strength training. I teach women how to eat in a way that's going to help their body to heal and to have energy. And yeah, and so I have many skill sets, but I think bringing it all together to serve the whole woman is what I really love to do.
So then what would a myth or a misconception be about that area of health and wellness for you?
That is solely dependent on, external factors,
Okay.
and so I totally have seen women who have transformed and lost 125 pounds and have kept it off. That's the goal. The goal is for us to get well and then to maintain it. And I
Yeah.
think when we just focus on the external factors, that we often find ourselves, a few months after our program or the thing that we decided to do, we end up backtracking and we end
Okay.
up a year later finding ourselves, oh my gosh, I feel so bad because was feeling so good 6 months ago and now I've gone back to my old habits. And so if
Mm.
you don't rewire the things internally, you'll find yourself going backwards.
Okay. So I think I hear what you're saying there, and that it's reliance on external controls like an artificial diet or eating
Hmm.
pattern or exercise or whatever, supplementation routine, whatever it is that they're using externally, instead of creating that internal shift that needs to happen to sustain the
Yeah.
lifestyle. Okay.
Yeah.
So
So it's that
yeah,
it's becoming a lifestyle and not
yeah.
just, I'm
Boy, oh
feeling
boy,
bad, so let me do
aren't
something.
those things selling right off the shelf? The Ozempic and the
Oh
whatever,
yeah.
you know?
Oh,
Ah,
yeah, but people aren't realizing the side effects that are happening.
yeah.
And, yeah, so I think whenever we take shortcuts, we're really taking the long way in the long
Yeah,
run.
that's a
Yeah,
good point. Shortcuts
yeah,
are the long way. That's
yeah,
very true. So share a little bit now about I was really wanting you to share your personal health journey because I wanted some of the listeners to hear some of your success stories, but there's none that I know of personally like yours. So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, so, yeah, it's been almost a year and a half going on 2 years where, I really hit a wall with my own health, and, I really, began dealing with very painful fibroid tumors.
Hmm.
And it was quite a shock for me because, I've been dedicated to health.
Yeah.
I love this, healthy lifestyle. And so for me to get to a place where um, you could literally see the fibroids out of my body,
Wow.
and the pain was so intense that I wasn't even able to go on walks. Like I literally was sidelined, and for some time I was very fearful that maybe it was some type of cancer, having that,
Yeah, sure.
also happened with my daughter. And so I, of course, went out seeking medical help, and they told me that what they felt I needed to do was a high risk hysterectomy.
Oof.
And she also, my doctor also said, I cannot guarantee that you'll be out of pain. And I had a lot of scar tissue from 4 C-sections and hernia repair.
Oh,
So
sure.
a lot of things that happened to my body.
Yeah.
And, I was just not satisfied with that answer. And so I, in with my faith in God and his healing powers and him giving me wisdom to know what to do, I told her, I said, I'd like to see what I can do on my own. And she was like, I don't know what else to do. She didn't even want to do the surgery. She wanted to refer me to an oncologist because she felt like it would be something that was beyond her scope.
Wow.
And so I set out to figure out, how did my body get here? There had to have been a root cause to
Mm.
what was causing that. And so I began finding and seeking out what was the root of these tumors. Like, how did they get here? And I felt like if they got there, then they could also get on gone. you know and I truly believe that given the right tools, our bodies can heal. Our bodies are designed by God to heal when we give it the right tools. And I just began laying a new foundation for my body. And I really began changing things with my diet. I began learning the importance of detoxification. And
Mm.
that's something that we don't talk a lot about. We
Mm.
kind of think that's for third world countries, but
Yeah.
our environment, we're inundated with toxins that are on our food. We are glyphosate, pesticides are really causing havoc in our bodies. And that's why there's such a prevalence of disease and illness, and hard to lose weight because
Yeah.
of the toxins in our body. And so, with not only doing detox and deeply nourishing my body, I also addressed emotional issues that I'd
Mhm.
had, kind of stuffed down. And I think that's something we do as women. We're dealing with lots of
Yes.
stress, that we push down. We're sometimes dealing with relational issues that
Right.
we're suppressing. And I really had to examine all facets, like emotionally, what do I need to let go of? What baggage have I not dealt with? And I began unpacking those things, and my body holistically healed, my mind, my body, and spirit together. And those tumors shrank.
Wow.
And I have now gotten back to really great health. I'm feeling well. I'm pain free. And my body has been healed. And not only that, I was dealing with high cholesterol and fatty liver and things that
Easy.
you would just never know. But those are a lot of things that are happening inside of our bodies that we don't know until it gets to where our bodies are screaming.
Right.
And so, yeah, I've been able to
Well,
really.
hasn't it been like I mean, for those of you who've never seen Christina, she's this adorable, tiny little fit, as you might imagine, a runner body. Like,
Yeah,
she has been in athletics and health her whole life. So when that's how I have only known you. And then to see what happened to your body, it was like almost like the beginning of a pregnancy, right? The way that it
yeah,
appeared, but
yeah,
without the reward of the beautiful
right.
face, right?
Yeah,
So, but I just was shocked because I was able to walk with Christina during that time, and just not that I was doing anything, I was just a support in our Live Your Vision program, but she
yeah,
was doing all of this work internally, mind, body, soul, just as she said. And it was like magical to watch her body go back to its original size, and then to see this wellness and radiance come forward. It's
yeah,
just been an incredible healing. And I know that, so it is hard to say what you do, because in terms of just being a wellness coach, it sounds, as you and I've discussed many times, so inadequate in terms of the description of who you are and what you do.
yeah.
But would you just mind sharing a little bit about, like, where people could get in touch with you? Because I'm so sure that some of the listeners have been like, whoa, I didn't know what I was in for hearing this. I've struggled with it sounds so simple, the mind, body, soul, but it's much deeper than that, because isn't that what you do? You help people with that, all those aspects. It's not just the workouts or the nutrition, but it is some of the spiritual and emotional side of it as well. No? Am I right in
Yeah,
that, seeing that? Yeah.
absolutely. And wellness in the mind, body, spirit scope can be simple. One of the things I've worked with all levels of women who are wanting different things. For the woman who's like, I need help just with, knowing what to eat and helping my body to release the weight or balance my hormones. I have that for you.
Okay.
My workouts incorporate a mind body component. Like, we're working out, but we're also working it in, so
I love
yeah. And so, I'm doing mindset coaching while we're training. So
Okay.
it's not like you got to add anything to it. I have just learned ways to incorporate these nuances and incorporating a mind, body, spirit approach with things that you're already familiar with. But for women who want to go deeper, who want to be a part of a rebirth in their midlife, I have something that I'm developing for you too, for women who are like, you know what, I'm ready to lay a new foundation. I'm
Wow.
ready to have a life change in my midlife, and I'm ready to go big. I have something for those women too. So, it may sound a little more involved, but you know what? I make it simple for the woman that just wants to get her health on track quickly, and for
Mhm.
the women who are like, I want to go deep. I want to create some sustainable, changes and have just new life in my body. So
Awesome. So exciting, the work that you do. That's why I had to push a little more on, like, tell us more, tell us more.
yeah,
I just think having walked, like I said, with Christina during that time, watching the miracles occur, and then seeing the way she's graciously given it back to the community of women that she's a part of has been extraordinary. If you were at our Pepperdine event, you heard one of her beautiful meditations. I mean, there's just so many aspects, and she's very multifaceted in her approach to wellness. So her even her meditation at that time was so spectacular. So if you all have any, you know, small things or big things that you really want to heal and grow through and set up a new foundation in your health and your wellness, so you really do want to have a great next chapter in your wellness, Christina is your girl. So Christina, where can people get a hold of you? Because we could
sure.
talk all day.
Yeah, absolutely. You can go to my website. It's www.loveyourselffitness.net. And, I'm really in a time of rebirth for myself as well, because I am getting ready to launch some new things. And so you're going to see some things kind of shifting and changing behind the scenes, but that's where you can reach me now.
Perfect. That's awesome. Awesome. Is there anything else you want to share with our audience today, Christina, before we close out? This has been incredible.
I just want to encourage women to listen to your body and to prioritize your health, and just know that it can positively impact every other area of your life. And so
Mhm.
instead of seeing it as like, oh, this is another to-do thing, see it as a thing that, it's going to be something that can help jumpstart every other area of your life. And so don't wait. And I can't wait to be someone that could possibly support you to your best health.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you so, so much, Christina. So anyway, all of this will be included in the show notes and the contact information, the show notes, and also in the email if you received the email as well. So by all means, please reach out to Christina if you have any health questions or, concerns, and, just trying to figure out if she's the right person to help you get where you're looking to go. I'm sure she'll help you in many, many ways. And so thank you again, Christina, for joining us. And thank you to our listeners for joining us. We are very much wanting to drive that initiative, as we said, that self-care is not selfish. And that's why we wanted Christina to come on, because I love the message. Oh my gosh, listen to your body's whispers so you don't have to hear it scream.
Yes.
And we do very much have that same mindset here. Be a student of yourself and not a judge in our community. So thank you again for joining us. If there will be more of these great things on April 20th, we will have a showcase of sampling of some of things for wellness, like sound bathing, like soul art to heal, like yoga, different things like that that you can participate in. So it's going to be a live workshop where you can participate. Also know that we will have many more of these wonderful interviews that bring wellness to women. And hopefully, as Christina said, stop neglecting our self-care. So that will help. We're looking to support you in that journey. Thank you again. Please like, follow, subscribe, tell your friends. We'd love to have you join us on this channel, on this show. We have lots and lots more experts coming your way. But thank you again. And we hope you have a great day.
Thank you so much, Julie, for this.
Thank
This was
you,
really
Christina.
wonderful.
This is great. Thank you, everyone.